Hello everyone and welcome back once again. This is part 2 of episode number 6, and since this is going to be a long video, so I am dividing this into two parts, part 2A and part 2B. This is part 2A of episode number 6, where I would be covering the beautiful Buddhist site of Phanigiri along with the Erakeshwara temple at Pillalamariri. On day 27, our first destination was the Phanigiri Buddhist site at Phanigiri. Around 110 kilometers from Hyderabad and 45 kilometers from Suryapet is the Phanigiri Buddhist site, with its name derived from the shape of the hill, which looks like a snakehood. Phani in Sanskrit means snake and Giri means hill. According to archaeologists, the coins that belong to Ikshvaku period, dated between 3rd and 4th century Common Era, were found here. The site location is believed to be on the ancient trade route Dakshinapatha, connecting the west and the east coast of Deccan. Notable findings at the location include recent unearthing of a coin hoard at the Phanigiri in Suryapet district. While earlier lead coins with elephant symbols on one side and Ujjain symbol, stone beds, glass beds, shell bangle fragments, stucco motifs, broken limestone sculptures, a wheel of a toy card, final nails and pottery were discovered. Mahastupa, apsidal Chaityagrihas, votive stupas, pillared congregation halls, viharas, platforms with staircases at various levels, octagonal stupa Chaitya, 24-pillared mandapam, circular Chaitya, and cultural materials that included terracotta beads, semi-precious beads, iron objects, Brahmi-level inscriptions of the Satavahana and Ikshvaku times between 2nd to 3rd century AD, punch-marked coins and coins issued by Kshatrabs, Romans, Mahatalavara chiefs, etc., and several limestone sculptural panels depicting the great events of Siddhartha Gautama's life, Jataka tales, and Buddhapada slabs, Buddha and Bodhisattva images were also recovered from the site. Two large footprints in the complex are believed to belong to Gautama Buddha. The place also houses 3 viharas, which were once served as the dwelling for Buddhist monks. Previously, the name of the village was Dharmachakrapuram, but later it is called Phanigiri. এই যখন পেছন থেকে এনেছি তখন নিশ্চয়ই এসছে সাথে। Our second destination of the day, the Erakeshwara temple at Pillalamariri. Erakeshwara temple is a Shaivite Hindu temple located in the western side of Pillalamariri village, Suryapet. The temple was built on the banks of the Musi river in 1208 CE by Era Kasani, the wife of Beti Reddy of the Rechalra family, who were feudatories of Kakatiyas. Erakeshwara temple is one among the four prominent and intricately carved stone and granite temples located in Pillalamariri village. The other three are about 250 meters east of the Erakeshwara temple. These include the double temples next to each other, Nameshwara temple and Trikuteshwara temple, and the fourth being Chennakeswara temple, Vishnu in ruins, that is few hundred feet southwest of the double temples. They are all from 12th to 13th century period. During 14th century, the temple was vandalized by Alauddin Khilji, a local feudatory chief serving Kapaya Nayaka of Musunuri Nayaka dynasty re-established the temple as per inscription dated 1357 AD. One of the stone inscriptions is dated to 1195 CE and mentions the rule of Prataparudra I. Another stone inscription dates to 1208 CE and makes a reference to the reign of Ganapati Deva. One of the earliest archaeological surveys and documentation of this temple was completed over 1926 and 1927 by Ghulam Yazdani, an archaeologist and epigraphist, and published in 1929. In this study, the four temples at Pillalamariri were in ruined state and incorrectly named as Someshwara Gudi, now identified as Erakeshwara Temple, Narasimha Temple, now Nameshwara Temple, Mukandeshwara Temple, now Trikuteshwara Temple, and Rameshwara Temple, now Chennakeswara Temple. According to Yazdani, the temple in the northwest part of the village has several inscriptions, but some were modern. The Hindu masons of that medieval period had miscalculated the weights, and this, he proposed, was the cause of the ruins and sunken floors he witnessed. The local ruler patron and the builder of this and two other temples in the village was the Namireddy family, a Shudra by caste according to the genealogy inscribed on the stone in one of the temples, as stated by Yazdani. What is endowment temple? अच्छा ये गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है. Talking about the architecture, the temple, just like the other temples of Kakatiyas, follow a more of a North Indian style of architecture with the main shikhara above a plinth or Jagati above Adhisthana. The base is cruciform in shape. There are three porticos in the temple towards the east, north, and south, and the Garbhalaya Sanctum Sanctorum the west. The stones used are of acoustic property and sounds like metal when tapped. Intricately carved pillars and walls make the temple very special, along with murals and paintings on the wall. that brings me to the end of part 2a. Please do continue watching, especially the part 2b, because that would be the completion of this part 2 of episode number 6.